The lake's frozen. Little lake there. It's good over here. Look at the snow. It's great though. Hi people. Just a few things I want to talk about today, and updates really, and I want to ask for a little bit of support. First thing, some of you might remember that I got arrested in Manchester last May the 19th, and I've only just finished the investigation with the police, the internal investigation, and they've decided that the police did nothing wrong. So fortunately, I saw a post on Facebook from Ian Gould. He's a solicitor that specialises in prosecuting the police. So he's taken my case, and he said I should get legal aid as well because I'm unemployable. But yeah, so Ian Gould, thank you very much. He's going to take my case against Manchester Police, and I've already passed his name on to another patriot who was assaulted in Leeds on Saturday. Keep that video footage coming in, people. Let them destroy themselves. Let us just watch them take their course, step back and let them hang themselves. Because they spent last year hanging us, and I think this year we're just going to let them destroy themselves. But in the meanwhile, when you're getting assaulted by the police, you need to know there's someone out there on your side. So Ian Gould, based in Liverpool, he said I can pass his details on to people as they come in with assault cases and video footage. Always helpful. So yeah, he's going to take that on. And the other thing was, as some of you may know, I got sacked Christmas last year, so a year ago. I've been unemployed, and I put in for a tribunal for unfair dismissal and discrimination. Now, I met up with somebody a couple of days ago in London to talk about taking on my case, and although I probably haven't got much chance of winning against the establishment, against children's social care, because we know how corrupt they are, don't we? So anyway, I've got a tribunal for the 18th of March, and even though I may not win, I've already won, because I'm going to show them up for what they are, and I want to take this opportunity to show them up on behalf of everybody else. But what I'd like, please, is I'm appealing to you all to come out and support me. If you can get to Middlesbrough any day between the 18th and 22nd of March, outside the Justice Courts, Magistrates Courts, wearing yellow vests, hopefully, I'd like to see a crowd of people out there representing themselves, standing up against children's services. I want them to turn up, and for whatever reason, whether it's to support me because, as you may know, I was dismissed for speaking out. They don't like you to speak out, especially about the grooming gangs. So there's a couple of things I said. I think sharing the Britain First post is what nailed the coffin lid, but I'm still going to fight them, and I don't want no gagging orders put on me, and I don't want no under the table deals so that I have to keep quiet. And I don't, like I say, even if I don't win, it will be a win for me if everybody's out there protesting against social care, protesting against the corrupt court system, the corrupt establishment, all those forced adoptions. Because when they were building a case against me, when they decided, I'm going to have to stop for a minute, it's uphill this, look, right uphill. Anyway, when they decided that I wasn't fit for purpose, as they do with these parents and their children, they built a case against me, as they do with parents they fact find, and they ignore any positives. They ignored 15 years dedicated service, 300 families that I worked with, never complained against me. And I was set up by so-called colleagues who, you know, thought I was mad as a box of frogs, but a lot of the things I've said have now come into fruition 2 years on. And so this is really a statement to them. It's a demonstration of, you know, when they find a fact against you, when they build a case against you, it doesn't matter what you've done right, it doesn't matter what was going on in your life at the time, it doesn't matter how your mental health was, and even if it was just a 2-month period, all they care about is building a case against you and winning. And they did to me what they do to many families. They didn't take my child away, they took my job away, which I can live without. You know, I don't need a lot. But when you think about how they do that to family, time after time, to take the children off them, these parents don't stand a chance. Because they can't afford to fight the system. Well, I was just going to represent myself in court. But I got hooked up with somebody that's willing to help me, thankfully, and I really appreciate that. So I'm not on my own. So we decided that if we're going to make it count, we need to come out in force against children's services. It's an opportunity for all those parents to come out against children's services, because those managers have to turn up again, you know, to the tribunal. And I'm sure that North Yorkshire Children's Services, although things have been pretty quiet as far as not at the Rochdale or the Newcastle or the, you know, scandals that's been going on, but you've got to remember North Yorkshire County Council were responsible for the areas that Jimmy Savile was prowling, you know, and I know I've met an awful lot of adults who've been in the care systems around North Yorkshire and it hasn't been good, and they've suffered badly for that. So I think it's time that we had a voice. I think it's time that we let them know that we know what they're doing, we know how they operate, we know how soulless they are and narcissistic. And yeah, it is a big thing to take on the establishment. You know, I'm sure lots of people have lost their jobs for saying the wrong thing, not being politically correct and all the rest of it. But they sacked me, not because I did something wrong particularly, but I could potentially do something wrong. I could potentially share my views with the families that I worked with, which I never did. But potentially that's what could happen. I could potentially upset a Muslim with my views, apparently. You know, like parents who've been in care and could potentially harm their children even though they haven't. But we'll take them anyway because you might upset your child in the future. Well, if they didn't interfere with our family and if they hadn't worked so hard on destroying family, then parents would be in a better state. And I don't know if I'm going to get up this hill because it's quite slippy. But you might see me fall in a minute. But yeah, like I say, I'm just asking people, if you've got any free time in March from the 18th to the 22nd and you live local, or even if you don't, I'd really appreciate you coming outside the court, waving your banners, waving your flags, with your signs, with your yellow vests on. I'd love that. We want to see a sea of yellow. So Hannah Soubry, when she says the yellow vest movement's very small, let's show that it's not. Let's show that we mean business. Let's show that we've united against the establishment. And I just think this is a fantastic opportunity to show them, because if there's a load of people outside the lawns and the courts all week protesting against social care because they're in a tribunal with me, that's got to get publicity. That's got to show the public, the people that matter aren't going to take it anymore. So, yeah, people, I'd really appreciate it. I'll remind you, it's not long away. I've waited over a year for this. So, yeah, I'd just really appreciate if you could be there with your banners and you know, make a lot of noise, let your presence known. I'd like a few people to come in the court as well. So as many as we can get in there, so they can't all pick on me, eh? They've got 5 witnesses against me. None of them that really know me, but you know, it's a setup, isn't it, as usual. But like I say, I wouldn't want my job back. I think I wouldn't have had this year I've had meeting the people that I've met, and it's been fantastic, and being part of the fight. And it's not over yet, but, you know, it's the week before we find out about what's happening with Brexit at the end of the month when we're supposed to get it. So, yeah, let's all come together. Let's show them that we're not going to have it any longer. Let's show them that, you know, you're going to support a patriot. You're going to be there because you're fed up with social care. You're fed up with a dodgy court system. You know, you're fed up with them pushing us down. You're fed up with people losing their jobs just because they've got an opinion. You're fed up with us losing his free speech and free thought. You know, they dictate every move we make. You know, we're not allowed to think for ourselves anymore. We're not allowed to do what we feel is right. We have to, you know, they've even got our neighbours. I'm going to try and get up this hill. I don't know if I can. They've got... No, I'm never going to get up here. They've got power on their side with the establishment, so they think. But each week, we find out how corrupt they are. We find out more about what they're doing. We find out how many more lives are being destroyed by them. I mean, what was that the other day? An advertisement for foster care. They're expecting... What was it? Was it 30,000 or 3,000? I can't remember. How can you predict thousands of children are going to go into care and they're going to need those foster carers if you haven't planned to steal those children? So please, people, come out and show support. Let's show them a sea of yellow on the long lawns outside the courts and show solidarity for a fellow patriot who's lost their job because they got a big mouth. Hey, whether you want to just support me or just come for your own reasons, I don't mind. Just, it would be nice to see the numbers there. So yeah, thanks everybody. Like I say, I've met some fantastic people. And good old Keith will be there all week. Joe King, as you probably know him by now. But Keith's going to be there, but he'll be coming in the court. And what I'd like to do on the first day, on the Monday, the 18th, is to... I got up that hill. Is to have somebody read my statement out outside the court, the one that will be read in the court, so everybody knows why I'm in there, and everybody knows what happened, and they've got no, you know, they can't put a gagging order, they can't stop me talking, and even if they offer me a few quid, you know, I think, what's worth more? Getting that crowd outside the court all week and making a show, standing up against them, or a few quid under the table to keep my mouth shut. Well, I don't know that they'd offer me a few quid anyway, because they're so arrogant that they're bound to think that they've got to wipe the floor with me. But I feel a bit more confident now. I've got some help. So yeah, that's good. But yeah, I would like to see everybody there if you can make it, even if you've got some holidays left or a day off, or you fancy a trip to Borough because it's at the Middlesbrough. Let's just make a thing of it. Let's just be there for everybody that's lost their job. Let's just be there for everybody that's lost their children. You know? Yeah, that's all I really want to say. But I'll put out a few reminders. And the final thing is that on the 24th, it's a Sunday of March, there will be a charity event. Tommy Robinson will do a question and answer session. I think it's 2 till 6 in Norwich, and that money will go to charity. So it's £20 a ticket. Glenn asked me to pass that details on if anybody wants a ticket, to let me know, or Glenn. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy the snow now, because I love it. It's dead still. It's a gorgeous day, and there's benefits to being unemployed, isn't there? You can enjoy this with the dogs, bit of freedom. So yeah, hopefully I'll have a job before along the way. I'm not that unemployable, surely. But yeah, so if you can make it, if you want to support me, if you want to make a statement, then just turn up 18th of March, Monday morning, 9 o'clock outside the Magistrates Court in Middlesbrough. We're doing a Yellow Vest demo in Middlesbrough on the 9th of Feb as well. And a friend of my daughter's works with the homeless in Middlesbrough. And he's actually being called racist because he only helps local people. Yeah, you couldn't write it, could you? So he's going to let all the guys know that he supports on the streets about the demo. And we'd like to be able to give them some support because they get a shit deal. You know, most of the people on the streets are either ex-army, ex-care, through the care system, or the relationship's broken down, the family's broken down. You know, don't stand a chance. And then it's just a slap in the face, isn't it? I mean, in London, it's taken all the sleeping bags and the belongings off the streets like they're just rubbish, with nothing. The little that they've got, they want to take away, destroying souls constantly. And we've got to put an end to it. We've got to take this country back. We've got to do what Trump's done and shut down. I know there's talk of shutting down Parliament, but that would be a result, wouldn't it? But I don't know what it's going to take for this country to wake up and realise that communism is not a good idea, you know. And we've got to fight against it. We've got to fight against the EU. We've got to get Brexit to start sorting out all the other problems. So yeah, let's show them that the Yellow Vests aren't a little small movement that don't need to be taken any notice of. Let's show them that we're all united. I don't care what group you're from. You know, I don't care what you've stood for in the past. I think it's time to come together. It's time the people come together and show, you know, solidarity and support for each other. I don't care. Like people say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to that one because that doesn't affect me." Well, everything affects you somewhere down the line. You might not think it personally affects you, but let's see how many of these people that look down their noses at us, that you know, consider themselves middle class or whatever. Let's see how long they look down their noses at us once they start getting hit with the interest rates and inflation, and it starts hitting them in the bank accounts, and they can't pay the debts they've got because they're in the red, and then they've put the, you know, they're just going to ruin our economy. There's a lot of things to fight for, but as I say, my own personal fight, if you can give me some support on that, that would be great. Alright, thank you people, and thank you all for watching. Bye bye.